What if the most powerful man in Hollywood never needed the spotlight to leave a legacy? While the world was busy chasing fame and fortune, Sam Elliott was quietly building something far more lasting. Something hidden behind the silence, the solitude, and the slow walk into the sunset. But what he's been protecting all these years might just change the way we see celebrity, success, and the true price of peace. Why did this Hollywood icon walk away from it all? And what secret has he been guarding ever since? He wasn't born into stardom or fame. Born on August 9, 1944, in Sacramento, California, Samuel Pack Elliott came into a world ruled by structure, discipline, and unspoken expectations. His father, Henry Nelson Elliott, was a predator control specialist, a man of precision and practicality who didn't believe in dreams, especially not those rooted in the arts. His mother, Glynn Sparks, a former Texas diving champion turned PE teacher, carried the weight of the household with quiet strength. But no one in that home whispered words like Hollywood or dared to reach for the stars. Sam's early life was one of internal silence. At 13, his family relocated to Northeast Portland, Oregon, a move that marked a new beginning, though not an easier one. He wandered through adolescence like a ghost caught between two worlds, duty and desire. When he finally voiced his dream of becoming an actor, his father's response was cold and cutting. A single remark clipped his wings before they even had a chance to spread. That crushing moment would become the first of many that nearly smothered his calling. High school passed. Sam graduated from David Douglas in 1962 and enrolled at the University of Oregon. His father's choice, not his. He studied English and psychology, but the classrooms felt distant, hollow. Every step forward felt like a betrayal to the spark inside him. 2 semesters in, he walked away. Not from responsibility, but from a life that didn't feel like his own. He wasn't quitting. He was searching for something real. Back in Portland, he entered Clark College in nearby Vancouver, Washington. This quiet restart was the birthplace of his true self. Cast in a local production of Guys and Dolls, Sam played a minor role that changed everything. He wasn't the lead, and the audience barely noticed. But for him, standing on that stage was like breathing for the first time. A small mention in the Vancouver Columbian, "Sam Elliott has the makings of a professional actor," was all he needed. That single sentence, buried deep in a column, planted a seed of belief that would never die. In 1965, diploma in hand, he returned to the University of Oregon, determined to finish what he started. But life had one more lesson for him, one so brutal it nearly broke him. Without warning, his father passed away from a heart condition. No final words, no final glance, just silence. The man who never supported his dream was suddenly gone, and all that was left was a cavern of unresolved emotions. It was a wound that never healed, only reshaped him. For Sam, it wasn't just about losing a father. It was about losing the voice that haunted his every decision. That unspoken need for approval would shadow him long into adulthood. But the silence his father left behind didn't paralyze him. It fueled him. And that fire would take him places even he couldn't imagine. Years later, as the industry embraced him, Sam Elliott's fame exploded. But he never became a flashy Hollywood icon. Instead, he carved his own path, rooted in authenticity, humility, and grit. His roles in Tombstone, The Big Lebowski, and A Star is Born weren't just performances. They were extensions of the quiet storm inside him. Audiences didn't just watch Sam. They felt him. Off-screen, his lifestyle was anything but excessive. Sam Elliott isn't the celebrity seen flaunting sports cars or multi-million-dollar watches. His taste has always leaned toward classic, understated luxury. Known to drive rugged trucks and American muscle cars like the Dodge Charger, his style reflects who he is, timeless and grounded. His real estate portfolio includes a modest yet beautiful ranch home in Malibu and another peaceful retreat in Oregon, both surrounded by nature, away from the Hollywood chaos. He's not flashy, but he's financially wise. Over the years, Sam made smart investments in land and properties, building a quiet empire outside of the spotlight. He's been cautious, ensuring not just his assets, but also his health and career through comprehensive personal and professional insurance policies, making sure that the security he lacked growing up would never again be a concern. Unlike many Hollywood elites, he avoided overexposure and excessive spending, instead focusing on long-term sustainability. His career wasn't built on luck. It was built on calculated steps and powerful restraint. That kind of foresight has left him financially secure, admired by peers, and protected from the harsh pitfalls of fame. If there's one financial lesson in Sam's journey, it's this: build slow, stay humble, protect what matters, and invest in what's real. His story isn't just about success, it's about survival, both emotional and financial. Sam Elliott didn't just become a star. He earned it, moment by moment, choice by choice. He arrived in Los Angeles with nothing but a dream, and the belief that he could make it. There was no one to greet him, no welcoming committee, no agents waiting with open arms. The odds weren't just against him, they were stacked, suffocating. But that didn't matter. He rented a tiny apartment on the outskirts of the city, barely enough to stand in, let alone dream big. Rent was high, bills were brutal, and all he had were labor jobs that left his hands raw and aching. By day, he was lifting bricks under the scorching sun. By night, he became a student of the craft, repeating lines alone in his room, exhausted, hungry, and still believing. That belief was his only luxury. In those early years, rejection was a daily ritual. He'd wait in audition lines that wrapped around blocks, only to be met with silence or polite dismissal. One casting director didn't even look up from her coffee, but still he showed up, because quitting wasn't an option. He'd walk home through dimly lit streets, replaying the words he could have said better, wondering if anyone would ever see his potential. Every step in those lonely nights was a step into the unknown. And yet, he never stopped moving. That's where the legend began. Not in a studio, but in the grind, the sweat, and the quiet resilience. Then came 1968. The series Lancer gave him his first break. It wasn't a leading role, but it was something. It was proof that the industry had finally noticed. Audiences saw in him not just a cowboy, but a man with edge, depth, and quiet strength. That breakthrough opened the door to Judd for the defense, and a steady stream of roles that began to shape his rugged, determined image. He carved out his space not by charm, but by sheer tenacity. Yet even as the offers came, mainstream fame remained just out of reach. He wasn't Hollywood's golden boy. He was the underdog, always one role away from recognition. In 1975, I Will Fight No More Forever brought him critical attention. It was a turning point. Then in 1976, Lifeguard handed him his first leading role. Though not a blockbuster, it was enough to earn respect. Enough to turn heads. The real storm hit in the 80s when he truly came into his own. Roadhouse in 1989 wasn't just a film, it was a moment. As Wade Garrett, Sam didn't just act, he embodied strength. He wasn't the young hero. He was the seasoned warrior, wise, weary, and unshakably cool. That character forever changed how audiences saw him. The 1990s were a golden streak. With roles in Tombstone and Gettysburg, he wasn't just playing cowboys, he was the American West, with all its flaws, fire, and fierce independence. His face became a symbol of unwavering strength, a man who'd walked through pain and turned it into presence. But behind the cameras, he was still that same grounded man, humble, private, and fiercely dedicated. And while his career soared, so did his financial power. From a man struggling to pay rent, Sam's net worth has now climbed past $25 million. That's not just from acting, it's from strategic choices. Real estate plays a major role in his empire. He owns a ranch in California's Santa Ynez Valley, valued at over $5 million, where he finds solace in wide open skies. There's also a quiet but striking property in Malibu, and a retreat in Montana, each echoing his love for privacy and nature. His garage tells another story. A longtime lover of classic American muscle, he's owned everything from a 1969 Dodge Charger to a sleek black Tesla Model S, combining nostalgia with modern power. And let's not forget the watches. Sam's often spotted wearing a Rolex Submariner, simple but timeless, much like his style. While he doesn't flaunt a private jet, he frequently charters small, exclusive flights for privacy, efficiency, and comfort. What sets Sam apart isn't the wealth, it's what he's done with it. He invests in sustainable ranching, supports independent filmmakers, and quietly donates to veteran support organizations. His lifestyle isn't about excess, it's about authenticity. That's rare in a world where image often outpaces substance. In a world obsessed with fleeting fame and social media facades, Sam Elliott's journey stands as a tribute to depth, discipline, and the kind of emotional gravity Hollywood rarely sees anymore. In the early 2000s, just when the industry seemed saturated with spectacle over substance, Elliott began shifting the narrative. Though not always in leading roles, his performances carved deep impressions, each character layered with emotional turmoil, each line delivered with a quiet thunder. When he appeared in We Were Soldiers in 2002, it wasn't the screen time that mattered, but the weight he carried in silence. The audience didn't need many words to feel his conviction. Then came a surprising shift. His voice took center stage. In Thank You for Smoking, and even the animated hit Barnyard, Elliott didn't just act, he resonated. It was a reminder that his voice alone could breathe life into anything. But the real turning point came in 2018, when he stepped into the emotionally charged shoes of Bobby Maine in A Star Is Born. It wasn't just another role, it was a revelation. For the first time in decades, Elliott found himself at the center of awards season buzz. An Oscar nomination validated what many already knew. He wasn't just a cowboy or a character actor. He was the soul of every scene he touched. That performance held a raw, emotional clarity that spoke to generations. And just when many thought he had reached his peak, Elliott's voice found new purpose. Commercial campaigns, documentaries, even animated films. The moment you heard that deep, steady tone, you knew it was Sam. He became more than an actor. He became a symbol, a hook in the minds of millions, not just for what he said, but for how he made them feel when he said it. Beneath the mustache and gravel voice, however, was a man who lived life with gentle grace. In 1978, he met Catherine Ross on the set of The Legacy. She was coming out of 4 failed marriages. He, quiet and respectful, simply watched from a distance. No grand gestures, no flash, just patience and admiration. Their real connection began after filming ended. When they finally married in 1984, it wasn't some star-studded spectacle. It was private, real. That same year they welcomed their daughter, Cleo Rose. In an industry where legacy often dictates direction, Cleo chose her own path. Rather than diving into acting, she embraced music. Her decision wasn't rebellion, it was independence. In Malibu, she built her life quietly, with creativity, not capital, guiding her. Elliott and Ross's life together feels almost like a myth in today's Hollywood. Decades of love, one home by the sea, and no scandals to speak of. It's as if their relationship operates in a parallel universe. Proof that enduring love in the limelight isn't impossible, just incredibly rare. But love and legacy come with loss. In 2011, Elliott's mother passed away at the age of 96. She wasn't just a parent. She was the last living link to his roots. the quiet force that had shaped his values, his resilience, his gentleness. He didn't speak much about her passing, but in interviews, in his expressions, and in those subtle pauses, you could feel the hollow she left behind. Sometimes the deepest pain hides behind the calmest faces. One powerful look, and you knew he was carrying something he didn't want the world to fix. He just wanted it to understand. As Sam Elliott enters his 80s, he doesn't slow down. He deepens. Every role, every word, every moment is layered with decades of life experience. He's not just an actor. He's a living reflection of resilience, grace, and loyalty. In a town that often forgets its legends, Elliott reminds us that true greatness doesn't fade. It settles in, grows richer, and continues to echo long after the curtain falls. Even as the world rushes forward, chasing trends and reinventing fame with every click, Sam Elliott continues to walk a different path, slow, measured, and unapologetically authentic. He doesn't chase the spotlight anymore. Instead, he's cultivated a life that reflects his deepest values: peace, privacy, and presence. Now in his late 70s, Sam's days begin not with scripts or red carpets but with sunrise strolls across his Malibu ranch, a quiet stretch of land he and Catherine Ross have lovingly called home for decades. This coastal retreat isn't just their sanctuary. It's a testament to everything they've built, brick by brick, moment by moment, a life rooted in sincerity and love. And that ranch? It's estimated to be worth over $6 million, nestled in one of California's most exclusive neighborhoods. Yet it feels more like a haven than a mansion. His approach to luxury has never been about excess, but about essence. Over the years, Sam has owned a modest collection of high-end vehicles, including a vintage Ford Bronco and a sleek black Mercedes G-Wagon, quiet symbols of refined taste, not brash status. He's also been spotted wearing classic timepieces like the Rolex Submariner and Omega Speedmaster, watches that tell time and legacy in equal measure. Though he's never boasted about his wealth, his career has been remarkably lucrative. With an estimated current net worth of around $20 million, Sam's financial journey mirrors his artistic one: steady, purposeful, and resilient. From modest beginnings in small TV roles to earning an Oscar nomination for A Star is Born, every dollar reflects a chapter of passion and perseverance. But behind the scenes, Sam has been just as wise with his business decisions. He's made selective but smart investments in film production and voiceover campaigns, particularly with iconic brands like Coors and Dodge. These long-running voice contracts, anchored by his unmistakable baritone, have quietly added millions to his portfolio. He may not fly private often, but when he does, it's discreet and purposeful, usually for film promotions or family getaways. Even his insurance planning reflects his meticulous foresight. He's maintained comprehensive policies covering health, home, career disruptions, and asset protection, ensuring not just his legacy, but his family's future. One of the most compelling hooks in his financial life is his ability to maintain stability without ever compromising integrity. In an industry where fortunes rise and fall with box office numbers, Sam's steady climb is a masterclass in controlled, intentional success. And there's a lesson here for all of us. Sometimes the smartest financial move isn't to chase the trend, but to build something timeless. He never gambled his earnings on risky ventures. Instead, he invested in quality, relationships, and projects that matched his values. It's that kind of consistency that's forecasted his net worth to continue rising even in retirement, thanks to royalties, syndications, and strategic real estate holdings. Sam's relationship with money, much like his relationship with fame, is quiet and calculated. He's never needed lavish headlines to validate his success. While others leaned into luxury for attention, Sam leaned into legacy. And that legacy isn't just cinematic, it's financial. He's shown that you can live richly without excess, secure your future without noise, and leave a lasting mark without shouting. His real estate empire may be humble compared to Hollywood standards, but its value lies in how it has housed memories, growth, and quiet triumphs. That kind of wealth, the kind that buys peace, not pressure, is what truly makes him rare. So as Sam continues to live simply but meaningfully, his financial path remains a blueprint for anyone looking to build not just a career, but a life. A life where every choice, be it a role, a home, or a dollar, echoes with intention. And if you ever wondered how to turn quiet persistence into enduring power, just look at Sam Elliott. In a world obsessed with fast fame, he proves that the slowest steps often leave the deepest footprints. And there you have it. Sam Elliott, the man who proved you don't need the loudest voice to leave the deepest echo. From the dusty trails of the American West to the quiet halls of his Malibu ranch, he's shown us that real power doesn't shout. It stands still, steady, and unshakable. Whether it was his iconic roles, his rock-solid financial strategy, or the way he's carved out a peaceful life away from the chaos, Sam's journey is one for the books. And honestly, for the heart. If you were moved by his story or inspired by the way he's lived life on his terms, hit that like button. Got a favorite Sam Elliott moment or film? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, because we've got more stories like this. More Hollywood legends, untold truths, and behind-the-scenes journeys that'll make you see your favorite stars in a whole new light. Until then, remember, in a world racing for fame, it's the ones who walk slowly that often leave the deepest footprints. And Sam Elliott? He didn't just walk the path, he became the trail. See you in the next one.